We're at the iconic Brands Hatch circuit for rounds 7 and 8 of the Volkswagen Racing Cup, racing this weekend as part of Deutsche Fest, which basically means if it's German and connected to cars, it's likely to be here.
The festival was filled with fun for all the family. There was food, there were games, there was even a Formula One demonstration.
Now this weekend the action takes place on the 1.2-mile Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch. But before we get into it, let's have a quick reminder of what happened last time out at Snetterton with David Addison.
We're ready to go racing here in Norfolk. Rory Clark goes way wide. Nose to tail now, Deffer up the inside. Lots of damage on the front. They are still nose to tail. It's going to be a win for Simon Walton. He wins at Snetterton. Jessica Hawkins in trouble, a slow start. Damage to the windscreen, bonnet flies into her face. Tom Wicks through on the inside. Martin Deffer heads the pack. He wins at Snetterton. Chris Paniotto is the championship leader coming to Brands Hatch. Toby Davis tied second with Dennis Strandberg. Matthew Wilson fourth ahead of Martin Deffer, and Josh Coggan is sixth. On track this weekend in the VAG Trophy part of the race is novice Mark Steele.
It's my first year in, so I wanted something that was competitive, quick, and a good sort of entry into motorsport. This weekend's a bit different for me though, because there's only one entry in the VAG. I think the tyre supply didn't bring any tyres, so I've gone under the slicks. So I'm playing with the big boys, which is really, really exciting, but nervy. Got much bigger discs, real stopping power, but this has got RS4 brakes. I've got a smile on my face, so it's all good.
Okay, it's time for the first race of the weekend here at Brands Hatch, and as you can see, the crowds are making the most of their access to the grid. They are absolutely loving it. However, let's talk to the pole sitter, shall we? Because this is a big moment for him. Roo, how are you feeling?
I am feeling amazing at the moment. This is really special. This is my first pole position in a car, so it's really good.
So Rory Clark is the man on pole position for the first time in his Volkswagen Racing Cup career. The championship leader Chris Paniotto is alongside him, and he's yet to win a race this year. Simon Walton lines up third ahead of Ethan Hamilton, who has proved to be one of the stars of the Junior Saloon Car Championship in recent seasons. And so the grid starts to slot into place, and we are ready to go. This promises to be a very lively race indeed. It's a one-by-one staggered grid. The short Indy circuit always gives good racing. 20 cars set to do battle, and the drivers now will look towards the lighting gantry. Whoops, a bit of a false start by Chris Paniotto, who goes and stops. That compromises the run on the way up towards paddock for the first time. Ethan Hamilton makes a good start and gets ahead of Simon Walton, but it's Rory Clark who converts pole position into the race lead as the leaders dive down through paddock for the first time of asking. Up towards Druids now, into the hairpin. Everybody being careful on this opening lap with cool tyres. 1 or 2 run wide and now drop downhill for the first time. So a great getaway by Rory Clark. He leads the pack. And now the real heroes try and gain ground on the inside, coming down towards Graham Hill. Bend, whoops, big slide for Mark Steele, and around he goes. He doesn't need the emergency services, despite 999 on the side of the car, but what he has just done is put himself right to the back of the pack. End of lap 1 as the cars come through clear ways, heading to the timing line. Through goes number 14, that's Tom Witt, who was only 15th on the grid, and he's normally a front runner. Different team for this season, but Witt's always a man to watch as they come through now. Now can Chris Panayiotou recover after that top start, using quite a bit of curb on the inside there. Jamie Bond, and he gets up alongside Simon Walton, and Bond goes through. Simon Walton saw him in his mirrors, he had that spectre of Bond behind him, but in the end he loses out on the way up towards Druids. Wasn't able to defend, and now look, also pushing on is Toby Davis there, number 34. His Golf goes through on the inside of Dennis Strandberg. Dennis for Team Hard this weekend, it's another new circuit to him. And Strandberg, who was a double winner at Silverstone at the start of the season, turns his way through clearways, but he's got work to do here. A replay of the start. Now have a look at Chris Panayiotou, the green and white Sirocco. He goes and stops. He may well get a penalty for that because he was out of position when the race properly got underway. The race leader then, Rory Clark, coming up towards clearways, and the Sirocco is coming under attack. Chris Panayiotou is behind him. There's no news of a penalty heading his way, but he was certainly out of position when the race got going. So Chris Panayiotou now accelerates up towards the timing line, hunting down Rory Clark as they head towards paddock. Clark coming under attack, and Panayiotou dives up the inside. The championship leader goes through. He is desperate to be a race winner this season, and this could be the day. Through he goes on the inside line. He gets himself ahead of the Scotsman. Chris Panayiotou, an experienced driver from Clio's, from Volkswagen Racing Cup, from GT Racing as well. And as he drops down towards Graham Hill Bend, he's ahead, but only just as Clark tries to get back up the inside. There's a little brush between the two of them, but Chris Panayiotou it is who comes out just ahead. Rory Clark grabs a gear and hustles on now up towards the left at Surtees and then right through McLaren up towards Clearways. But the trouble is he's dropped back now and he may not be able to fight back because he's got the traffic bearing down on him. Off the road and possibly out of the race, that's Tom Walker. Let's try and piece it together. Tom's car running wide onto the dirt, coming out of Druids, avoids everything solid, but was it a flat tyre that put him there? Battle on lower down the order. Look there, you can see Paul Taylor, and he's heading that next gaggle of cars. Dennis Strandberg is about to try to make a move up on the inside of him. Strandberg's to the inside, and former champion Paul Taylor is going to end up falling behind him in the Golf. Strandberg's Golf dives through on the inside and picks up the place. Here they come, side by side, up to the line. Back towards paddock, and it's Paul Taylor that goes through. Dennis Strandberg in the Team Hard Golf, tucked up behind him. Hard on the brakes, into the hairpin, nose to tail they turn. Dennis Strandberg trying everything he can to find a way past. On the inside into Graham Hill Bend, and he goes through. The Swedish driver, one-time British touring car racer, finds a way through, but for how long, I wonder. Great battles rage on up and down the order. There going through is the Sirocco of Matthew Wilson. And wheel lifting, the pack accelerates now through the right-hander of Clearways into Clark Curve. Josh Coggan's Golf going through, and up towards the line he comes. He's trying to attack, he's trying to defend, all at the same time. Ahead of him, look, is Paul Taylor. And can Coggan now make that move up the inside? New to racing this season. Through they turn, up towards Druids. The Alamy Motorsport Run Golf then right on the tail and off the road, and in real stride, that's Ethan Hamilton. Remember, he was fourth on the grid, but he's got a problem. And he runs wide, coming out of Graham Hill Bend, goes through the gravel, but I suspect there was rather more to that, which pitched him off the road in the first place. Through goes number 4, Dennis Strandberg, then taking over the Team Hard Golf for the weekend, and he's under attack. He's trying to close on the traffic ahead of him, but it's not proving to be easy, that's for sure. Way off the road, there goes the Audi. That is Simon Walton at paddock, and thankfully he's got enough momentum to get back on again. This is what happened to him. Turns in, loses the back. Now, was that a hit? Gets fired. Yes, there was a car behind him. A big, big slide. He gets fired left and right, and there's confirmation. It was definite contact, and that was Jamie Bond, the aggressor. So Chris Paniotto leading, still no word about any penalty, so it looks as though Chris back into racing is going to survive in front as another drama happens up at the hairpin, and that was Tim Docker getting it wrong again, possibly with an assist. But Chris Paniotto, who had a really nasty cycling accident a couple of years ago which left him unable to walk for a time, back into motorsport, back into racing and back into the lead of this race. Meantime, the two teammates here, Paul Taylor and Tom Witts rather, in the Joyce design car have got themselves together. Heading up towards the timing line now and weaving their way through the traffic as they come past the pits. A problem though, slowing right down, that is Paul Taylor. And off into paddock goes Witts. Locks up, slides out into the gravel and off he goes. And again, Tom Witts has got enough momentum to dig himself out of the gravel on the other side, but that will cost him place after place after place. Dennis Strandberg in the meantime, still hustling on. The next little gaggle, including Matthew Wilson coming up towards Clearways, and Wilson this time loses out. Mark Wakefield goes through on the inside. Mark, who we've not really seen the best of this year, but he's a very rapid driver. This is the replay of Witts, just locks up too much speed into paddock and off he goes, and was just able to avoid anything solid there, but only just. The two race leaders are absolutely nose to tail as they drop downhill here. Chris Paniotto just ahead of Rory Clark. Together they run along Cooper Straight. Now, can Clark fight back? He's running out of time in this 20-minute race. They turn their way together now through the left and then the right out of Surtees up towards McLaren. Clark needs to try to get the run on the inside here. The checkered flag awaits, and it looks as though Chris Paniotto is going to score a first victory of the season. It's been a wide open season thus far. Championship leader, now a race winner. Chris Paniotto wins race 1 here at Brands Hatch. Rory Clark takes second, his best finish of the season, and the gap at the end is only 0.3 of a second. Simon Walton takes third, Jamie Bond given a penalty for the contact up at paddock. Toby Davis fifth, ahead of Dennis Strandberg. Sixth from Owen Walton, Josh Coggan eighth, Mark Wakefield ninth, and Matt Wilson 10th.
I knew Rue was going to be quick. He picked me in quali, but look, I think he's probably got the pace on me this weekend, but we'll see how we get on.
Trying my best to stay ahead of him. I'm really trying hard, but he just got that move on me, unfortunately. But I know I was trying. I was so hoping he'd make a mistake. I think he almost did, and then he caught it. And then I was just sitting behind him, putting pressure, but it just never came.
At the end of the day, we're here for the championship, and I need as many points as possible. And I will race for my position and try not to. If you're going to shut the door on me, it's going to. We're going to come to blows.
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
Okay, race 1 done here at Brands Hatch, and as you can see, we are all ready for race 2, which will start after the break.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch for the second Volkswagen Racing Cup race of the weekend. First, here's Josh Coggan about building a race car.
Me and my father over the winter built the car. Massive help from Alamy with all the parts. So yeah, built it to be as competitive as I can. Built it myself, I know the car inside out. I know what's on the car, what parts are on the car. And yeah, it's unique to me.
The cars making their way up towards the grid. For race 2 of the weekend, it is Dennis Strandberg who will start on pole position. Toby Davis with him at the front, then Jamie Bond and Simon Walton, who fell out rather in the opening race of the weekend. And then Rory Clark will start 5th, and race 1 winner Chris Paniotto is 6th on this semi-reversed grid. We are good to go racing them. This is Simon Walton's view. It was a very lively first race. What will race 2 have in store as the lights go out? We go racing. Slow start by Jamie Bond. Good start this time by Chris Paniotto in the green and white Sirocco. Moves across to cover off the pack behind him, and the 2 goals of Strandberg and Davis run side by side towards paddock. Right round the outside goes Davis. A great move. Toby Davis goes through, but Dennis Strandberg has not given up yet. He keeps on coming up on the inside line. He's up the curb, he bounces wide, and Jamie Bond will take full advantage of that. 3 wide out of Druids on the grass is Davis. Strandberg gets a bit of a touch and gets all sideways. He's the meat of the sandwich as Davis gets sideways. He clips Bond and fires him off onto the grass as well, and Strandberg picks up the race lead. What a start. Dennis Strandberg leads. Up to second goes the Audi TT. That's the quick starting Simon Walton. Tom Witt goes round the outside, whoops, there's a spin. Oh, big drama. Russell Joyce gets collected. What was an immaculate car is now looking very second-hand indeed. Joyce got sideways and was collected. We'll try and see who it was that did the walloping in a moment, because there'll be another graunched car somewhere. As up over the timing line there goes Owen Walton's Audi TT. Well, what a first lap. Dennis Strandberg it is that leads the way then. Second is Simon Walton as the cars turn through. That's Josh Coggan's Ultra Smart flared wheel arch Golf, and another one into the gravel bed is Paul Taylor. Teammate Russell Joyce in the wars, now Taylor is off the road as well. This is Rory Clark keeping out of trouble. The Sirocco accelerates now along Cooper Straight. This is the view of the traffic just up the road ahead of him. Through the left at Surtees, into the right at McLaren, and look, there's a lock up ahead from the recovering Toby Davis. This race seems to be favouring the Golf Club, doesn't it? Because you've got 3 Golfs up in the front, yellow flags waved, safety car boards are shown. That's why some were suddenly slowing, and the reason is plain to see. It's because of Paul Taylor's car beached in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. It's Paul's local circuit as well, so very disappointing he ends up in the gravel bed. Now this is a replay of the opening fun and games with Rory Clark. You see Strandberg up the curb going into the hairpin at Druids. That forces him out wide, so Jamie Bond gets up the inside. Then there's all the contact between Davis and Strandberg. That had the effect of getting Davis all sideways. He clips Bond, puts him on the grass, and Dennis Strandberg comes through to take the race lead, and Walton's Audi up into second place. And this is Russell Joyce getting it sideways, and he comes across the road and does get collected. A very big hit indeed. From another angle, there you see the car drift back across the pack. And it's another of the Siroccos, Tony Prendergast's car, I fear, that hit him. So, after all of that drama, we are ready to go racing once more. Simon Walton, you're on board with, sees the safety car peel in. Dennis Strandberg accelerates away. The Golf it is that leads the pack up towards the line, and battle is on for third and fourth between Davis and Bond as they sprint past the pits. Toby Davis on the outside, Jamie Bond on the inside. Davis locks up, almost runs out of road, and he's going to lose a place to Clark. No, he's not. He just gets back to the apex in time. Great racing we've had here on the Indy circuit this weekend. There are 1 or 2 cars with more than just the odd dent. However, for the fans, it has been a very lively brace of races, and we're not done yet. Strandberg is building the gap, but he's sideways at Graham Hill Bend. Onto Cooper Straight they come once again here. Somebody else getting it all crossed up, another of the Golfs in strife as there. Look, Ethan Hamilton tries to gain a place, and that, recovering after the spin, was Ashley Clements. That was the one that got sideways, and Ashley Clements drops to the back of the pack. If you survive this race, you're going to finish quite well by the look of it. Up to the line comes Strandberg, and still chasing on behind him, look, is Walton. Josh Coggan comes through, and a difficult Snetterton, but he's getting much better here. Replay of the Ashley Clements moment as he gets sideways, it goes left, it goes right, it goes all the way around. That was a real magic roundabout job, that. Clements back in the right direction with no damage. Speaking of damage, you've got a rather dog-eared car going through in the hands of Tom Witt. You've got Josh Coggan moving to the outside line there, looking the white Golf, trying to gain a place as they dive through paddock. Coggan under attack, Witt's to the inside line, 2 wheels on the grass, prizes open the door, there's another one off. That's Russell Joyce, I think, who's gone to join teammate Paul Taylor in the gravel at paddock. Russell, you're not getting out of there. He does his best, but the car is stuck. And now with trouble is Simon Walton. The Audi TT has hit dramas. Simon Walton crawling back to the pit lane. Winner at Snetterton, retirement at Brands Hatch. He won't even get to the pit lane. He parks it on the grass up at Surtees. The Audi TT out of the race. A great shame. It's one of the smartest cars on the grid, but Simon Walton limped to the pit lane as best he can, oh so slowly. The safety car is on track to scoop up everybody and try and neutralise the race while the Russell Joyce car is removed from harm's way. And then we'll go back racing once more. So Russell Joyce is out. He's safe. The car will be moved out of harm's way and we'll be back underway. Dennis Strandberg it is who leads the pack. Let's just remind ourselves how Russell Joyce got there. Too quick into paddock, loses the back. He tries to catch it, but a tank slapper puts him backwards into the gravel bed. Game over. We're ready to go racing there. Here they come. The green flag is ready, and we go racing once more over the timing line. It's battle on now for second place. Look between Bond and Davis, and Rory Clark gets in on the act as well. Clark slides up the inside, gets third, goes a little bit wide. So Bond is second and Davis fights back on the inside line now. On board with Clark. Newcomer to Brands Hatch, learning about the circuit, deep into Druids. Catches the apex though and hangs on to third place. Good recovery that to get back across to the apex. Ahead of him, look, Jamie Bond is still pressing on to good effect. And further up the road is Dennis Strandberg, the race leader, crawling all over the back of Clark, though now Toby Davis and Chris Panayiotou fifth, the winner of the opening race. He's had a rather subdued second race, but he's banking points. And what's left of Tom Witz's car, currently seventh, looking for a way past Mark Wakefield. This time around, though, the checkered flag is at the ready, and Dennis Strandberg is going to score a third victory of the season as he comes up towards the timing line. Dennis Strandberg wins for Team Hard in the Golf. He's a very happy man indeed. Jamie Bond takes second. Third goes the way just of Toby Davis, ahead of Rory Clark, and then Chris Panayiotou. So sixth, Mark Wakefield chasing home the championship leader, Chris Panayiotou, with Rory Clark fourth. For the podium, it's Toby Davis third behind Jamie Bond. And the race winner is Dennis Strandberg, and that is his third win of the season.
Didn't really feel like I had a pace, but the Team Hard guys has done a good job with the car. I mean, we came here Friday, never driven the Golf before, so to be on the podium and to win the second race is phenomenal.
It wasn't really a race, it was more of a safety car race. Yeah, do you know what? A podium, again, even though we got the first one taken off us this morning, it makes up for a tough weekend, to say the least.
I'm glad to be back on the podium, to be honest, having been P18 in qualifying and then P5 in race one, and we've really kind of worked our way through the pack on this weekend, so I'm just over the moon, and a huge thank you to the team for doing all they did to get the car right.
So what does all of this drama do to the championship? The gap between Chris Panayiotou and Dennis Strandberg now is just 22 points. Jamie Bond is third ahead of Matthew Wilson, who's tied on fourth place points with Toby Davis. Simon Walton is sixth.
Congratulations to Chris Panayiotou and Dennis Strandberg, the two big winners here today at Brands Hatch. Understandably, they'll be thrilled with their weekend's work. Now, where next for the teams? Well, it's a big one, and they'll be absolutely delighted to be jumping on a ferry and heading across the channel to another Formula One track. Destination Spa-Francorchamps for the next round.